Hey everyone, it is Dani'i and welcome to this update video on a potential tropical cyclone 15, which is expected to become tropical storm Lisa later today. So it has not yet acquired tropical storm status, but it is almost there. And so Jamaica as well as Grand Cayman are still under that tropical storm watch. And so this video will cover the latest that you should know on the system. And so before I go into details, please do subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you never miss an important update, and to show support for the channel you can leave a like on this video. Now let's go ahead and talk about the main treat of this video, which is potential tropical cyclone 15. And so we're looking at infrared satellites, and we're seeing here where we're not seeing too much going on for the system, because if you didn't know that a potential tropical cyclone was there, where a storm is expected very soon, then you would have thought that this was probably a normal satellite imagery with just some activity in the Central Caribbean, but it's actually the system there. And so if we take a look at this shortwave infrared imagery here, we can almost see that rotation. So we're starting to see where some new convection is trying to wrap around that center, but for the most part, the system is not very organized right now. It's not producing enough activity to be classified as a tropical cyclone. And so that was possible last night. However, it hasn't happened. And so by later today, however, conditions are expected to gradually get more conducive, and we could see this becoming tropical storm Lisa as we're going to be heading into the latter part of the day. And so as I said earlier, that tropical storm watch is still in effect for Jamaica. So we're looking at this cone forecast here, and we're seeing that Jamaica is highlighted. So we're under that tropical storm watch, and the Cayman Islands are right within that region. And so Grand Cayman is still under a tropical storm watch, as well as tropical storm conditions are possible there as we're going to be heading into Tuesday. And so the center of PTC 15, that's how I'm going to be referring to the system, potential tropical cyclone, or PTC 15. So the center of it is expected to pass south of Jamaica as we're going to be heading through today. And so that yellow region around that X is representing the extent of the tropical storm force winds. And so there is a possibility that southern parishes will feel those tropical storm force winds, but it is a lower probability than yesterday. And this system here is going to be making its way towards the west for the most part, and no longer to the west-northwest, as we're going to be heading towards the midweek. And so we're seeing that by Wednesday, the system is expected to intensify into a hurricane and possibly make landfall in Belize as a Cat 1. So if you're in Belize, here we have some consistency that, hey, this is likely to become a Category 1 hurricane, and landfall is possible within your area. So I implore you all to start taking all the necessary precautions and staying safe, because this is definitely not something that should be underestimated. And other areas such as Guatemala, Honduras, and the Yucatan should definitely be keeping eyes on this, because it could also bring impacts to those areas, though they might not be as significant. Because if the potential cyclone goes along with this expected track here, Belize is definitely going to be getting the worst of it. So if you're in Belize, heads up as we're going to be heading into the latter part of this week. But for now, Jamaica is still under that tropical storm watch. But as we look at the satellite imagery, we're currently not seeing anything really affecting the island. Just a few clouds, but nothing major from this system right now, because it is not a very organized or symmetrical cyclone, and all of that convective activity is not really in abundance. So let's see what's going to be happening throughout today. And so please remember that periods of heavy rainfall are likely to result in flash flooding across flood-prone areas. So guys, please take all the necessary precautions and stay safe, and do not take any unnecessary risks. But the fortunate thing is that the system is not looking too good right now, and so impacts might not be as significant as initially expected. But that does not mean that there won't be any impacts whatsoever. So let's see what's going to be happening throughout today. But again, please take all the necessary precautions and stay safe. And in terms of current conditions, let's look at the sea surface temperature map. And so we're seeing here that, of course, sea surface temperatures are definitely conducive across the region where we have that PTC 15. So we're seeing 29 and 30 degrees Celsius, and that is quite conducive. So definitely not an issue for the cyclone. However, one thing that is likely to be the reason that we're not seeing too much happening for it right now is the wind shear. So looking at the wind shear map, we're seeing that we have the reds that mean unfavorable wind shear, the yellow that means neutral, and the green that means favorable. And so we have the potential tropical cyclone within that region right there. And so we're seeing some unfavorable wind shear. So that is likely affecting the cyclone and preventing it from really getting itself together, getting all of that shower and thunderstorm activity being symmetrical. And so what the wind shear does, it really just displaces all that convection as it tries to develop and just helps the system to helps to suppress intensification of the system. So that's what's been happening right now. But of course, conditions are expected to get increasingly conducive as we head into the next few days and as the system approaches the coast of Central America. And then in terms of the long term, let's take a look at what the various models are expecting, beginning with the GFS. And so GFS definitely has that center passing south of Jamaica. That definitely seems like the most likely outcome right now. So the center passing south of Jamaica, GFS is expecting that the system will be intensifying as it makes its way towards Belize. And so that minimum pressure within the system that we see is around 985 millibars. And that is definitely a hurricane at that point making landfall. And then as for the Euro is expecting that we won't see quick intensification or any significant intensification. So the model keeps this as a tropical storm making landfall in Belize, also affecting the Yucatan. So that is by Wednesday as we head to Thursday of this week. And then as for the icon model, icon isn't showing too much intensification with the system, maybe an increase in organization as we head into the next few days, but not showing a significant increase in the intensity of it. So we definitely have to wait and see, guys. But as of now, the system is not looking too good, but it could still bring tropical storm impacts to portions of Jamaica as we head throughout today and possibly the Cayman Islands on Tuesday. So let's see what the eventual outcome is going to be. And of course, I'm going to be keeping you guys updated, especially guys in Belize who are expected to face landfall as we head into the next several days. And so guys, I just want to make mention of something else. So this is definitely not guaranteed, but models are picking up on a possible system within the vicinity of the Caribbean as we're going to be heading into the early part of November. So this is certainly not guaranteed, but I mean, during the month of November, there are typically storms that emerge from the South Caribbean and make their way up to the north, northeast, and some models, including the GFS, are showing something quite interesting as we're going to be heading into the next several days. But as I said, none of this is guaranteed to happen. So we really just have to keep watching the tropics. The hurricane season is definitely not over yet. We still have November to go through. And I think it's certainly possible that we can, in fact, see a tropical cyclone, another tropical cyclone before this hurricane season ends. And so that is really it for now. And if you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments and you can also share your thoughts there. And of course, remember to always be weatherwise.